and history. So the museums located at the centers of artworks, easily architect and old artists. The museums officially opened its doors to tourists at 1995, and they also had some renovations at 2006 and 2010. Tell you about the museums, missions, and exhibitions. So first, museum missions is to enhance public knowledge and understanding the histories and cultural heritage of Vietnamese women. Second, through the museum exhibitions, visitors learn about the symposiums, profile stories of Vietnamese women of the countries. And the last, these stories highlight love, sacrifice, silence, contributions, and the crucial roles of Vietnamese women in the past, present, and future. So now we can see from here, right out there is the statues of the members of the first floors of Vietnamese women museums. So we can see the statues of women who stand dressed in the dignified manners and carries the baby on her shoulders. Series present Vietnamese mothers or Vietnamese women in general. Her body looks so strong and healthy. Energetic in her face, very strong words, but also persistent and kind. So now I will show you a close-ups of her child. So her child face is also brilliant, with the two people looking out somewhere far away, like seeing the country's future. Floor of Vietnamese women's museums. So I'll give you an overview of the second floor. You can see left on the right. We are at the second floor of Vietnamese Women Museum, so I will tell you some key exhibits and highlights. But first, about the marriage costumes. Traditional wedding attires display various traditional wedding dresses from different generations of Vietnam. And about marriage rituals, the exhibit details the intricate ancient rituals involved in Vietnamese weddings, including betrothal ceremonies, bride price negotiations, and the actual wedding days, settings, and about family life, roles of women. So this section highlights the multifaceted roles of women within the families as mother, daughters, and wife, and about daily life artifact, the connections of everyday items used by women such as cooking utensils, living rooms, and childcare items provides insight into the daily life and labor of Vietnamese women across different eras.
Right now, I'm standing in front of the Vietnam Museum of Military. It was set up in the 1956. It's one of the 7 national museums in Vietnam, and it was situated in the central of Hanoi, really near the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. And also, the Hanoi Spark Tower is situated inside of the building. Okay, so the Vietnam Museum of Military cover the 6 main historical periods of our countries. The first period is from the before 1930s, from the nation's born until its first victory gained independence in the 938, and also the battle against the feudal invaders until the 20th centuries. The second period is from the 1930 till the 1953, which is the establishment of the Communist Party of Vietnam and the Vietnam Revolutionary armed forces. It's from the 1930s to the 1945, and the battle against the French colonist government from the 1946 to the 1953. In the first period is 1953 to 1954. It's the winter and spring offensive, and the Dien Phu battle, which made the French colonist government sign the Geneva Accords to end the war and restore peace in Indochina. The fourth period is from the 1954 to the 1968, which is the development of Vietnam's army and against the U.S. In the south of Vietnam. The fifth period is from the 1964 to the 1974 is the victory of the Vietnamese, and that had pushed the U.S. to sign the Paris Peace Accords to retreat from the south of Vietnam. And the final period is from the in the 1975 with the final offensive, and Ho Chi Minh's campaign had ended the war in Vietnam and finally made the Americans to completely retreat from Vietnam. And yeah. Okay, so in the first floor it will be the exhibit in the time that Vietnam against China, and in the feudal times, the battle in the feudal times, right when you enter the entrance, you will see a large map. So this map that will explain why our country was shaped like an S. So first, talk about the expansion of country. Okay, we can't make expansion to the north because we were bounded by the boundaries of bounded by the border of the China, which is a very powerful and aggressive neighbor. Since there is no land, we're bounded by the seas. We can also to the west because the terrain there is not very good. It was very rugged and mountainous, so we can develop our agriculture. That's why expansion to the south would be the best, since the south we have a lot of waterways and delta, which will be really good for agriculture, especially in our countries that is really strong in wet rice farming, and this would be really good for the economic also. So I will also explain the reason why the China frequently invade Vietnam. First reason is that we have a very strategic geopolitical positions, which is the exchange point between other civilizations, other countries. It would make like if they have our countries, it would make them develop in the economy and better in trading. And second is that, just like I said, our country has very rich resources, and there is also a timeline of Vietnam resisting against invader. There are 14 resistant war, and 10 of it belongs to China. The first floor also exhibit 14 national heroes. This is the first one. He is Nguyen. He didn't have any official title, but he's the one that ended 1,000 years of the northern invaders in our country. So in Vietnam's heart, he is a very beloved king. So next you can see here is a relief. This relief is to pay tributes for our older generation for the glorious victory that led Vietnam to the independencies of nowadays. In this relief, there is a lot of it's sculpted with lots of historical period in Vietnam. Here, first you can see is the giống, hành giống, and the True Sister, also Trần Hưng Đạo, and Uncle Ho with the chống đồng Đông Sơn drum. Đông Sơn drum is symbolized for the civilizations and development of Vietnam due to its technology and the architect of the drums back in that time. And you could also see the Zap generals and people holding the flag of Vietnam. Okay, so this is Lee Kiet. He's the one who pre-attacked China even before they stepped into Vietnam. Next is Trần Hưng Đạo. He's the one that defeated the Mongol invaders in the past. In the past, Mongol is a very powerful empire, and he defeated them 3 times. He is the son of Chen Liu. He is a very talented person. He got a talent to read and raise people's potentials. And lastly, here you see is Nguyen, also known as Angel. He is the one that defeated 29,000 enemy invaders in the 18th centuries, and also he's the one that ended the 200 years of civil war in our countries. You can see most of the general back in the day, they have very fierce, tough looking. Right now I'm in the 2nd floor. This place showcase the period. The strong country at that time, they start to develop and they needed resources, so they start to invade smaller, weaker country, and sadly Vietnam is one of them. Behind me is Vuong, also known as General Giap. He is a military genius in the 20th centuries. He lived till 103 years old. His hometown is Vuong province, and he was really famous by his leadership in the Dien battle, which was a very glorious victory for our country till nowadays. Next to me is the sculpture of a dead Raven soldier. He's holding the lunch mine, also known as Reclard bomb. It was invented by the Japanese and is a weapon anti-tank. So, in its command, if one of the claws are present, it could create explosions. And if you crush the tank with this weapon, you may penetrate or disable light tank if we attack it in its weak point. And the soldier has to come really close to the tank to use these weapons, so it's really likely that they would get killed during the missions. And this is clearly a very ineffective weapon in a lot of ways, but during that time, this was the only anti-tank weapon that we got. So till nowadays, the free-clawed bomb, also known as lunch bomb, is a symbol of development's life to the nations, the independence of the nations. Very heroic soldiers. This building is dedicated for the Dien Bien Phu battle. On the 1st floor, it will exhibit Dien Bien Phu battle in the 1954, and on the 2nd floor, it will exhibit the Dien Bien Phu on air.
See right there is the Hollow Tower. So about the Hollow Towers, the towers of Hollow is plastic. mathematical puzzles consisting of 3 bars and a set digits of different diameters. And here are some details about the Hollow Towers. And about objectives. The objective is to move all the discs from one bar to another following specific rules. And about its rules, you can only move one disc at a time. Large discs cannot be placed on the top of smaller discs. And about its challenges, puzzles become more complex as the number of the discs increase. And about the tower's history, the tower follows its own solo as a lookout tower or banners, temple masters. And here I'll tell you a fun fact about the Hollow Towers. The legend said is that the monks at the better temples in India had to complete the puzzles before the world's end.
Vietnam is a multi-ethnic country which consists of 54 different ethnic groups, perceiving the importance to have a ethnographic museum to preserve and to present the cultural heritage of each and every ethnic groups. Our government had decided to establish Vietnam Museum of Ethnology in the 1987. The Vietnam Museum of Ethnology offers insight into 54 different ethnic groups in an effort to preserve and to promote sociology, cultural heritage within the countries. The museum also has a Southeast Asian exhibition building to promote the diversity of culture to other parts of the world, not just for the domestic tourists but also for the international tourists. Okay, so right after you come in the museum, you will see a map and it will show the 3 main exhibition building of the museum. The first one is the Trung Dong exhibition building, that's in behind me. The second is the Southeast Asian exhibition building, is down there with the shape of a kite. And lastly is the outdoor exhibition area, which is in the outdoor part. Yeah, so the primary building, which is the Trung Dong exhibition building, displays traditional costumes and instruments, language, craft, and rituals of various ethnicities in Vietnam. The secondary building, which is the Southeast Asian exhibition buildings, extends beyond Vietnam and to show the roots and the presence of other ethnicity in Southeast Asian countries and their connection. And the third one, which is the outdoor exhibition area, it shows the full-scale replica of houses of the ethnic minorities in Vietnam. Right now, I'm standing in front of the Trung Dong exhibition building. So this exhibition building of the museum is it was designed by a Tay minority architect. He was the Ministry of Construction then, and he modeled this building as like the drum of the famous Dong Son civilization. This building consists of 2 floors and with a total display of 200,000 square meters. Okay, so the first floor is the introduction of the 54 ethnic groups. There are 50,000 artifacts, 42,000 video or photograph are being displayed here to show the daily life, the rituals, the clothes, the agricultural tools, and as well as the custom of these ethnic groups. And as soon as you walk in, you will see a board that shows the photos of the 54 ethnic, as well as greetings from various languages around the world. The 54 ethnic groups, minority of Vietnam, are divided into dozens of subgroups. The Viet are king people, making up to 88% of the population in Vietnam, are the ones that arrived at the Red River Delta in the southern part of China for about 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. Over thousands of years, they have conquered and absorbed indigenous groups and became the dominant ethnic groups in Vietnam. Here is the model of the fair in the central highlands plains, a mountainous area of Vietnam. So this market was built in the 1920s. This market consists of stone buildings and forming a U shape, and the roof of the building were covered with double tiles. So this is the buffalo cart of the Cham people. This cart is pulled by two buffalo and is really suited for the sloping and muddy terrains. It can take up to about 2 tons of material on top and is commonly used to transport paddy, rice, and maize from the field back to home. It was famously used in the 1915 of our countries. I'm standing in front of the Black Thai people's home. They are known for living in stilt houses with a distinctive tortoise-shell-shaped roof. This refers to a legend in their culture. They believe that the turtle teach them in the art of house construction. So in the homage to this creature, the Black Thai people, they made their roof kind of mimic to the tortoise shells its shape, and is customary for Black Thai people to hang tortoise shells in their home as a symbol for gratitude and protection to their home. Okay, so right now I'm standing in front of the Southeast Asia exhibition building. It was built in the shape of a kite, and in 2015 I heard that they opened 2 regular showrooms on the 2nd floor that was named a glimpse of Asia and around the world. So this exhibition really offered the visitors to have a chance to study various of civilization from both the local regions in Asia and the other part of the world. So let's get into the building to see the exhibitions. Okay, so now I'm inside the Southeast Asian exhibition building, and for the first floor, we will learn that the Southeast Asia has 11 countries and diverse culture, developing on an Asian's common belief that was influenced by the Indian, China, the Arab world, and the Western civilizations. This has increased the cultural and religious diversity in the regions of Asia, and nowadays it has been said that the survival of cultural diversity are being threatened by the globalizations. In the first floor of the museum, you can see there are a lot of traditional clothing, traditional artifacts from the Southeast Asian. So there are 2 popular forms of funeral in Southeast Asian countries. The first one is burial and second is cremation. So originally the dead were buried in stone coffins or jar, bronze drums, or wrapped in bark. But later people were more, because the popularity of the wooden coffins, people then were wrapped in cloth and retained in their house. Depending on the local customs and family is condition, they would be buried with their belongings, or at least with some money and rice, because that 2 things kind of symbolize prosperity. for their afterlife. And the second type of funeral, which is cremation, it was oftenly used with fragrant wood, but nowadays it's more commonly used with gas. After the cremation, people will gather the bones of the deceased people, put it in an urn, and then given to the family members of them to place in prominent area in their house. And in some other place, people would also scatter the ashes of their deceased family member into the river, oceans, or in the forest. In Southeast Asia, the second funeral was also really common. Okay, so the custom of beetle chewing has been for a long time and is widespread in Southeast Asian countries. A beetle quid consists of three main ingredients. First is the beetle leaf, second is the areca nut, and lastly is the lime paste. This is taken from the slaked limestones or corals or shells. Depending on the local customs, they may add like tobacco or bars and clubs in their betel quid. The traditional way to eat betel quid is that you take a betel leaf and then you rub a little lime paste on it. After that, you put the areca nut inside and wrap it to your desired shape. After that, you enjoy it. Okay, so now I'm at the place where they exhibit some popular performing arts in the Southeast Asia. So Southeast Asia are really famous for, first is behind me, is the mass performance from Thailand and Indonesia. This is the shadow puppetries in Indonesia. And lastly is the string puppetries in Myanmar. So people often doing puppetries in religious occasions or festival in their countries, and also this performing arts also comes with a percussion instruments. And the percussion instruments, also known as Phnom Penh, has more than 10 instruments. This include about 2 percussion bar, 2 gong rings, 3 drums, 2 trumpet, and one pairs of cymbals. Right now, I'm at the second floor of the Southeast Asia building. This place has 2 exhibition rooms. One's called A Glimpse of Asia, and the other called Across the World. And 2 of these exhibitions show the roots and presence of other ethnicity elsewhere in Southeast Asia and their connections. There are lots of traditional clothing, performing arts, and ritual traditional handicrafts. Here you see there's a basketry, a lot being displayed in the second floor of the building. Right now I'm at the exhibition of the Indonesian glass painting. This was a collection by Mr. Oom Mariono, was a well-known Indonesian pelkat silat master, and with the love for his country, its diversity, and the bright color of the glass painting, he and his wife built a wonderful collection, and in 2006 they donated 68 of the glass painting to the Vietnam Museum of Ethnology. Here you can see that there is a lot of glass painting about the daily life, and there are some painting that have like a deeper meaning. Like this one is called Do Not Forget. The painting was meant as a criticism of Indonesian society, and remember that wealth, pleasure, and passion do not exist in the afterlife. And also this one is a painting that rejects polygamy. This painting was devised as an advocacy tool by activists and artists in Yogyakarta to oppose the polygamy legislations and a belief in external love. And there are also a lot of other glass paintings display the daily life of the people at that time. and revolutions of the Java against the Dutch army, and glass painting for decorations. Really beautiful, right? There are some glass painting of the EFIS. Also, so after getting out of the Cheongdong exhibition building, you will see a huge courtyard, which is the outdoor exhibition area with a total display of 2 hectares and 10 different folks work. Outdoor exhibitions composed of 10 different folk works of the Vietnamese traditional home, such as the communal houses of the Bana minority, the long still house of the Ede people, and still house of Bay people, Viet house with indigenous foliage, and so forth.